Last year, I spent 14 days growing 2 chia Christmas trees, otherwise known as the chia-ristmas trees, and this is what happened. I took these chia seeds and these 2 trees, and I opened up my chia bag, bought from my favorite store, Trader Joe's, poured them in a bowl of water to turn them into a sticky gel, and once they reached the right consistency, they were ready to get pasted onto my trees. Now, I bought 2 trees just in case the material on one of the trees didn't work. One was wood and one was glass. And this was before I had a 3D printer, so I had to buy them instead of print my own. But anywho, I started slapping on the chia paste onto my trees. I did my best to create an even layer on top of those trees. I had to make sure that it was thin so that they didn't have any chance at going moldy or falling off altogether by the weight of the seeds. And for a while I was doing amazing and it was working well, and all we had to do was wait for our Christmas tree to grow. I really did try my best to spread them out, and I even waited 10 minutes for them to dry on the tree so that they wouldn't fall off. And as you can see here, soon the seeds kind of just started to slide off a little bit, and I was so confused because I spent 2 hours trying to stick the seeds on, only to see them start to slide off. And as disheartening as that was, I just kept on going and tried to trust the process because not all of them fell off, and we seemed to still be good to grow our trees. And somehow, by the grace of the Christmas gods, the seeds stopped sliding off and I did it. The trees looked amazing. Now, since the second tree was a different material, I was hoping that this one wouldn't give me as much trouble, especially since it was wood. What I really should have done here was get a clay tree and then the seeds would really stick. But I had to work with what we had here, okay? And soon we had 2 trees looking fine as heck, ready to start growing into a nice big chia tree for the holidays.
This is the best we're gonna get. It's really good though. Come on, this is sick. Okay, now we wait for our Christmas tree. On to the next one. I'll try not to spend an hour doing this with this one.
I kept a bag over one of them to keep the humidity high, and the other one I just left it alone hoping it would grow just fine. A little experiment. The next day I removed that bag to check on how the growth was doing, and everything was looking nice and on track to have our homegrown chia-ristmas tree for the holidays. I made sure to spray it with water every few hours. This was a tedious task to make sure that those seeds stayed damp. And after another couple days passed, I went to check on our trees, only to notice that the seeds started to separate and fall off entirely off of the tree. The green tree even had some mold on it, which is absolutely disgusting, and it was a true disaster. But you know that it's all trial and error on this channel, and I was determined. So I thought to myself, you know what? Maybe these things just needed some more sunlight. So I did the whole thing again. I removed all the seeds and started reapplying them back on both of the trees, but this time the seeds really kept sliding off, and I was really confused because the seeds didn't fall off that easily last time, and I just kept going and going.
They all just keep sliding off.
But as you can so clearly see, it really caused me a lot of difficulties. True disaster before this was a true disaster. And the seeds, they just kept separating. I tried laying down the trees flat on the plate so the seeds could dry onto the tree a bit, but I knew at this point I had to really put my thinking cap on because the countdown to Christmas was on, and I really didn't have more than about 8 days, the exact time it would take to grow my tree successfully.
I have an idea. I have paper towel, which is gonna act as our cheesecloth, and I'm gonna tape it around the tree. Then I'm gonna put the chia seeds on. Hopefully it will grow that way. Let's do it.
So I knew I needed to make this work. And I thought to myself, well, maybe if I tape a piece of paper towel to the tree and then add the seeds, they would have something to grow onto and latch their roots onto. I figured maybe they needed a medium to grow, even though this one was wood and the other one was glass. So I got to work. And it actually worked a lot better than I had anticipated and a lot quicker. And of course, I figured I would do it on both of them.
That was so much easier.
The seeds were sticking really easily and everything was coming together. I was very excited, and once I finished adding all those seeds onto the trees, you bet your bottom I kept them in a sunny spot near the window and proceeded to spritz them religiously and drown them with water every hour.
Got our chia tree. It's looking good. So now we wait to see if it grows.
these seeds had to stay damp. And at that point in time, I couldn't wait to see what would happen. They dried out so quickly though, it was really difficult to keep them damp, and a lot of the other chia pets I've grown have never been this high maintenance. But I guess with the materials and the odd shape, the chia seeds just did not want to grow. But again, I trusted the process, and soon I started to see little straggly roots coming out of the tree, and I got pretty excited. But I was confused as to why only some of them were growing and not all of the seeds. And by now, the countdown was getting even closer to Christmas, and there were only about 4 days left. So I kept watering it and waiting, but the trees just turned out like this. And I was so disappointed. I knew that come next year, 2024, I would be able to do this again the right way. And since I got a 3D printer, I would be able to print my own trees. And since chia seeds grow better on PET plastic, we would have our successful chia-ristmas trees. So, you can guess it, I waited an entire year to pass and made sure I had everything ready. I even grew my own crystal ornaments in time for the holidays, and once my chia tree grew, I added them onto my tree. So I am gonna make a video showing you the process of how I succeeded in 2024, because 2023 clearly was not my year to grow a successful chia-ristmas tree. So stay tuned to see how the tree turned out this year.